Hello, this is Greg Christian. Welcome to this 30-minute webinar about healthy lunches. I'm Greg Christian, founder of the Organic School Project. I'm on the right in your screen. We've been around 6 years, a 501c3 non-for-profit, trying to change the way we feed kids in school. And I'm with Jerry Herbick, who's been around a little longer than I have, and he has experience in everything from fine dining to institutional food. His previous job, before coming to the Organic School Project, was with Chartwell's as regional chef of the Chicago Public Schools. Also on the line is Colleen Kelly, who works for the Organic School Project. She's going to be taking your questions, so you are welcome and invited to send questions anytime during this webinar. And finally, we have Beth Sindler from FWE, our awesome sponsor, on the line. And if there's any equipment questions that I can't answer, you'll hear her answering those questions. A little bit more about Organic School Project before we jump in. We've been operating with this mantra of grow, teach, feed for 6 years. And what we're saying here, or what we've done, is we put 10 vegetable gardens into schools. And the reason for that is that I think kids have to reconnect with their food source to want more healthier food. They're pretty disconnected from where their food comes from today in most of America, and so they're looking more and more for chicken nuggets, pizza, and nachos. We also have taught wellness education in 3 schools for 3 years, where I've dropped full-time teachers into schools to teach kids about food. And then we've served over 225,000 healthy meals as a subcontractor to Chartwell's in the Chicago Public Schools to introduce more scratch cooking, and we evaluated those programs with doctors. And now what we've done is we've built this Grow, Teach, Feed collection. These are 3 books. The first one is Grow. This is how to put a vegetable garden in anywhere in America, and curriculum for 1st through 8th graders around that garden. The Teach book, a separate book, has about 25 lessons for 1st through 8th graders on all about food and nutrition, food in their bodies, food and health, food and advertising, food and culture. And then the Feed book, which you may be interested in, has over 200 recipes. Jerry helped me build that. You'll be hearing from him in a few minutes. The Nutritionals are in that book, and there's a whole section on how to buy local food and get local food into your recipes. So what we're talking about today is our current food system and its impact on the environment and the health of our kids, and then eventually grown-ups. Why healthy food is needed in schools. We're going to look at 3 recipes. We're going to talk about local food and answer all your questions. In regards to the environment, there's this unconscious mental model that most of us have been operating in, which is about 200 years old. This mental model was invented with the Industrial Revolution, and what it says is that we take resources, we make things, grow things, raise animals, and there's some waste. The World Wildlife Fund is saying that in 2050, we're going to be going through almost 3 Earths worth of resources in making the things in our lives, raising food, raising animals. And we only have 1 Earth. We're currently going through, according to the World Wildlife Fund, about an Earth and a half's worth of resources. And we only have 1 Earth, and our food system is directly related to how much resources we use, specifically oil. The average American goes through 400 gallons of oil per year just with the food they eat, and we're halfway done with oil. So it's really important not just to get kids healthy food, but to start to pay attention to how much resources the food that we're currently using are using. And we're going through a lot of water. This is the Ogallala Aquifer. This is under all those states. It's a fossil aquifer, and we're going through 12 billion cubic meters of water per year. 25%. It supports 1/5 of the wheat, corn, cotton, and cattle produced in America, and we're simply using more water than we have, and specifically animal husbandry goes through a lot of water. So we want to start to pay more attention to where does our meat come from and how is it raised. And then chemicals in our food. This particular herbicide is made in Europe. We put 80 million pounds of atrazine on our mostly corn in America, and then we feed that corn to our cattle. And this this chemical is illegal in Europe where it's made, illegal in Japan. And the reason for that is they're simply not sure if it hurts us or not. And Dr. Tyrone Hayes out of Berkeley has been saying for 25 years, researching atrazine, pretty much his life's work, says that this chemically castrates or feminizes fish and frogs. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you to stop serving the meat you're serving to kids, but I just want you to know that it contains this chemical, and down the road we probably aren't going to want to be using atrazine fed beef in our cafeterias. And the last piece on the environment is we have a dead zone. 33 states feed into the Mississippi River that feeds into the Gulf of Mexico. We have an 8,000 square mile dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico directly related to chemicals used in how we farm. Nothing lives in this water. It's growing every year. And another reason why we want to use less chemicals in our food production down the road. And we're getting sicker. Obesity is an easy thing to talk about. Everybody's talking about it. It's in the news. And according to the CDC, and you can follow along as the map gets darker blue, then towards that gold color, 2000, 2005, 2008. So we are getting bigger. We're diabetic, getting more diabetic. We're asthmatic, getting more asthmatic. And it has to, I know there's a lot of inputs with this, and you, in feeding kids, only have a little bit of control over a kid's life, but I assert that some of the foods that we're serving kids isn't good for them. And the reason I started the Organic School Project 6 years ago is because my youngest daughter had bad asthma, and we went with more scratch cooking in our house and more organic food in our house because we didn't know what else to do, and it really helped her a lot. And that is what inspired me to start the Organic School Project. And we're going to take a quick poll right now. It'll just take a second. And we want you to choose 2 areas where you need the most help with. We've been doing polls throughout our webinar series with FWE, really because I don't want to be wasting your time. I want to talk about what you want to talk about. And when we've done this in the past, people are filling this out. Now we know, we're going to talk a little bit more today about training kitchen staff, because people have said in Tuesday webinars that they need more information on that. Some people have talked about wanting an equipment upgrade. Some want to know more healthy food ideas. We're going to continue this webinar series, and we want to speak to exactly what your needs are. And thanks for taking that poll. Let me just share the results. We have an even amount of 25% of the people want to talk about training kitchen staff, sourcing local food, equipment upgrade, and healthy food ideas. And no one chose hitting their food costs, so you're all really good at that, which is great. So we're going to get Jerry involved here now, who he's just a class favorite out there in America. The first recipe is baked fish with lemon, and there's our nutritionals with our cost. And Jerry, why don't you jump in first before you talk about this? Why are you helping out the Organic School Project? You were with Chartwell's for 11 years, a great company, and what do you see happening in school food that you want to try and change?
Well, one thing I know we're worried about, participation going down and so forth, and all I saw was, to be honest, is more and more instant food, and I just really wanted to work with people that were willing to try some new recipes, some fresher approaches, and then when I was able to see the FWE Retherm machine and the Climate IQ, it really was, I was able to do any kind of recipe that you ever wanted.
All right. As far as the nutritionals and cost specifically to the baked fish with lemon. Uh, Jerry, what's your opinion about this cost, and how do you drive it down? And the nutritionals, are these satisfactory to you?
Not really. When I look at it, I think the sodium we could cut in half, and the 5 ounce fish fillet raw we could bring down the cost a little bit if we use 4 ounce raw. But if you were able to get your hands on the commodity, I looked at the commodity list, and they've got catfish and pollock on there. You really could cut your food costs in half.
Okay, there's our ingredients. Garlic shouldn't be in that picture. Sorry about that. And what fish did you use for the photo shoot, Jerry?
We used, I just picked it up. It was a basa, a new fish that, of course, I haven't even heard 5, 6 years ago.
So looking at the ingredients, another way to reduce the cost is to cut that fish portion size down an ounce. And let's talk about how we make it. So